Hey everybody, CT Hippo here. Tonight I want to talk to you about the process that I use for actually finding mines and shipwrecks and a lot of other cool things out there. Um, and it's a process called using open source geospatial intelligence, which is a complicated way of looking things up on Google Earth. Google Earth is a tool I use a tremendous amount. It's a free tool. It's Google takes overhead imagery, meaning both satellite, aerial photos, ground level photos from all over. There's a system by which people can upload their own photos to it, and conglomerates all that into one big database system that's really easy to use, and it's free, and I use it a lot. To go with that, I also use a lot of what's called open source information. And what that means is just public information that's in the public domain. In this case, I'm using reports produced by the Washington State Department of Natural Resources, Department of Geology and Earth Resources, or the DGER reports. And I'll put the link to the one we're using today down in the description. But that report, in this case, is about a silver mine in eastern Washington that the team from DGER visited and produced a report. The reason that the state is interested is that old mines, and most of these date from the turn of the last century, due to the geology of the rocks, frequently produce what's called acid mine drainage. Water gets into the rock that contains sulfite minerals. That was the mineralization that gold and silver travels with, and produces sulfuric acid, which then flows out of the mine into creeks, erodes things, is hard on the environment, etc., etc. So in around 2000, 2001, 2002, the Department of Natural Resources went out and visited a lot of old mines in Washington State and produced these DGER reports that are available online. So for this one, we're going to do the Ruby Mine, which is located in Okanogan County. It was a silver mine. And so if you want to follow along at home, go ahead and open up the link in the description to download the DGER report. And if you don't already have it, download Google Earth, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we're looking at the DGER report, Inactive and Abandoned Mine Lands. We're looking at the Ruby Mine today. And if you scroll down through here, it's got a rough map of it. The map you're looking at now is a diagram of the underground workings. This was a fairly extensive mine. There's a general view of it. But scroll down here to page, what are we on? Page 5. And we've got latitude and longitude for the features of the mine. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug these into Google Earth and see where they are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this. Google Earth can accept latitude and longitude information in a variety of different formats. This one, it does like it latitude first, though, so this is good. Some of the DGER reports have it reversed, longitude first. Other sources will have degrees, minutes, seconds, or degrees and decimal minutes, or whatever. So, okay. But Google Earth should take them all more or less equally. So what I'm going to do, I've got that highlighted here. Control C to copy. And we're going to go over to Google Earth. This is the Google Earth start screen. I'm going to go ahead and turn the ones that I've already done off. So up here in the search box, we're going to go Control V to paste. And then what you want to do is your longitude for anywhere in North America in the Western Hemisphere, anything to the west of the international, or not the dateline, the whatever that would be, the zero meridian. You want to make sure it has a minus sign, otherwise it's going to give you someplace in China. And hit search. And it's going to zoom in. Okay, it's approximately there. So what we're going to do is we're going to save that location. And to do that, we're going to drop down here, save to My Places, and then it's going to be over here on the left side. If you scroll down, get this out of the way, you'll see down here, it'll be at the bottom of the My Places folder. And what I'm going to do is, because this is a historic mine, it's going to go in my historic mines folder, so I'm going to create a new folder. You can do this either from My Places or within a subfolder. So right click, add folder, give it a name, Ruby Mine, okay, and then I've already saved the location to My Places, so I'm going to right click on it and hit Properties. You can also right click on the push pin here, and it has the location. It's going to use the coordinates as the name. So we're going to give this a name. If we go back and look here on the DGER report, this is the mill site. So going back to Google Earth, so we're going to call this mill site. Okay. The next one is the lower adit. An adit is a cave tunnel driven into the rock. Technically, if it's open at both ends, it's a tunnel. If it's only open at one end, it's an adit. There's a whole set of terminology that goes into mining that's specific to that, but that's what we mean when we're talking about adits here. So we're going to do the next one. Again, copy, paste, search. This is what happens when you forget to put the minus sign in. You get China. We don't want China. Let's not go to China. Coming back over across the Pacific. So there was our first pin. Here's our second one. And from the DGR report, this is lower adit. It's open, and it's 1,028 feet long. So I'm going to go ahead and capture that information, and we're going to put it into to go with our pin in Google Earth. So this time I'm going to do it from here. I'm going to right-click, Properties. What did I say the length on that was? 1,028 feet long. And I like to also make a note of where my source was, so that if I'm going back later, I can find it again, find out where I came up with that. Okay, and we'll do that one final time for, the lower one's at 6, the upper one is at level 1. Put the minus sign in. Okay, further up the hill here. And that's the end of that. Okay, sorry for that little interlude. I'm back, and I just realized that I screwed something up, so let this be educational to you. When I did the first adit, I didn't save it. I looked it up, I gave it a name, and then I did not save it to My Places, and it went away. So, let that be a lesson to you. So, I've now found the second one, right here, and I'm going to go ahead and save that as, or I did save the second one. The second one is saved as in my places. So, going to adjust the properties on it. This is adit 1. This is the upper adit. And if we come down here and look at the data in the DGR report, it's 250 feet long. So I'm going to go back over and put that in. Save it. And then, so these are just hanging out loose here in the My Places. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag it up to RubyMine so that it doesn't get lost. And that way I can keep everything categorized. Because as you can see, I've got quite a few of these that I've done. And so it's easy to get them confused. So we're going to go back and we're going to do the first one again, because I'm crap. And the minus sign. Don't forget the minus sign. Okay, there's the lower one. Again, save to My Places. Now pops up down here. Right there. Oh, something else that this will do is even though you click down here, it won't always move the cursor. So if you don't get text where you expect it, that's probably why. And save that. So now we have the upper and the lower and the mill site. Going to go ahead and close this just to get the second listing out of here. And then go ahead and move this up into the folder. Okay, so we can see where it is now. That doesn't tell us a whole lot. So this is where once we've got the data in, this is where we start working with it. First thing we're going to do, though, is you see these little icons here. These are pictures that users have submitted to Google Earth. Sometimes they're just, hey, look at my pretty sunset. But in this case, that actually is useful data. If you click on that, it brings up a large one. So this is the mill building, and we see this in the DGER report as well. If we pop back over here and scroll up, so that can be a useful confirmation. Sometimes you'll find things in the pictures that don't show up in whatever your source is. Sometimes you'll see things in the pictures that are not visible from the overhead imagery. They can be a very useful tool. So pay attention to those, and surprisingly, they have them for just about every place in the Earth. It never ceases to amaze me where some random spot that you'll zoom into on Google Earth, and then, oh hey, somebody's been there and taken pictures and uploaded it. Something else we can do here, swapping back over to Google Earth, you also, the service that the pictures are uploaded to, they keep saying they're going to do away with it and replace it with something else. I've seen this message as long as I've been using Google Earth. I don't know what the new thing is, but as of when this is being recorded in January of 2018, it's still there, but it's going away. So back to Google Earth. So something else that's useful to do is to get some orientation of where things actually are from the ground. And you may have used the street level view, but obviously they don't have coverage every place for it. And this is a really neat tool of Google Earth. We're going to drag the little guy down here and park him here on the road. So you can see this is not the street view. What this is the satellite image superimposed over an altitude map, and it works just absolutely beautifully. The upper, whatever you call this, pad is your view, and then the lower moves your position around, and then this controls zoom. So we're going to go left here, And we can see that the mill is down here. It's actually this building. Lower adit's here. And the upper one is kind of lost up here, but is right there. Zoom in on... So that gives you some actual... It's not exactly ground truth, but it is a better orientation of where things are. And that can be really handy sometimes. Something else that you can do with that capability is if you've got, say, a photograph like this one, there may be things indicated on the photograph to where that they don't have coordinates for. And so by adjusting the view in Google Earth until it matches the photograph, you can work out and interpolate where the other things that are marked on the photograph are, even if they don't have coordinates in the report. It's an approximate thing, but there it is. This is an interesting, mentioning that. Powder magazine out of photo and maintenance shop. You see this notation here. Go over here to Google Earth. I'm going to guess that that's the maintenance shop, and somewhere up in here is the powder magazine. So that's a detail that it was mentioned in the DGR report, but is not visible from their photos, becomes visible in Google Earth. One other thing you can do, and this is occasionally useful, is take your ground level view and put it up here to get an idea what is visible from a position. So this is what the view from the upper adit should look like looking down. This can occasionally be handy when you're hiking around trying to find a very small hole in the mountain and you're wandering all over, to, again, try to match photos with the terrain level view that you get in Google Earth. So that's a quick overview about how I use Google Earth and open source geospatial intelligence in finding mines. It's one thing to read a set of coordinates in a report. It's a whole other thing to put that information on the map and figure out what it really means and how we can really use it. So I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please let me know and what else you'd like to see me do. And if you've got questions, go ahead and post them in the comments. I look forward to it. Thank you.